Okay, so today we are going to talk about two of our services, and they are both under the small business plan. Um, the managed cloud data storage and secured Slack and Teams messaging. So I'll give a little intro, and then I'm going to kind of go into what that really looks like on our side, and all the features that go into these two line items here under the plan. So for the cloud storage, that is, we will go in and help you or help the client um, manage their cloud storage, either help them migrate them into the cloud from an on-premise solution, or just manage the current solution they have to make it more secure, more efficient, better permissions, and segmented, that all that good jazz in between. So that's on any platform that we'll do. So our main ones are, of course, SharePoint and Google Drive, Dropbox, but we've also done things where we've done things like DocuSign setups and tutorials to help a client figure out DocuSign, that sort of thing, to get them involved. Just depends on the platform that we work on, depends on the client's needs. Does that make sense? So
So what if
if
they don't have a current
they don't have
platform
a
that?
current solution, then we will help them shop for one and select one. We won't take on the subscription, but we will help them select the proper one. And then once they've, we help them sign up for it, and then we come in and manage it as well. So we make sure all the settings are properly configured, and all the folders that they want have the proper permissions, and things like that. So when they're sharing files back and forth, those files have the proper permissions on them to make sure that it's only going to the people that actually need that file.
So is that already included on the plan, or that's charged to them separately?
So the management of the platform is included in the plan. The platform cost itself for them to use is an extra cost that they would go through that. So we would help them set it up, and select the right plan that they need, and then have them subscribe to them separate from us, and then we would come in and manage that solution.
Okay, got
And yes, and that could be, like I said, that's good. That's a good question, because that could be anything from like Dropbox to DocuSign, like we were saying. So, for example, if we have a law firm as an example, they might need DocuSign more because they need signatures a lot, right? So as they do legal stuff, they need a lot of signatures. Whereas maybe a bookkeeper or a tax pro might not need DocuSign. They might just need Dropbox, because they just need a portal for their clients to send them documents, and vice versa, during the course of their operations. So that's why I call ourselves platform agnostic in that way, because I want to make sure that the client is getting the proper product for what they need, and not just something that's slapped together for them. But we are, I mean, for us, in terms of us, a cloud platform is a cloud platform, so we can work on all of them. It just depends. Like I said, it depends on the needs of the client, and we help them figure that out if they don't have one. And then I'm about to show a little bit, give a little bit of example, and some visuals of what we see and how we secure things. But we also do secured Slack and Teams messaging, including, actually, I need to include Google Chat, but it includes Google Chat as well if you use Google Workspace, or if the client uses Google Workspace. it basically it monitors for not only uploads to those messaging platforms, Slack and Teams and chat, but also the messages themselves for keywords that help in what we call data loss prevention. So when keywords like social security numbers and credit card numbers and people's personal identifiable information, addresses and things like that, it'll flag. It'll on some things, depending on if it's an address, it's not as big a priority as a social security number or a credit card. So it'll flag on like an address, but it'll actually block a message from being sent. Checkpoint. Well, I'm sorry, our product Checkpoint will block messages from being sent them outside of the organization that may have personally identifiable information or that sort of data loss prevention. So that's a big thing for, especially like title companies, law firms, CPAs and tax pros. They need to make sure that certain information is not being medical industry, of course, certain information is not being leaked per se, maybe not on purpose, but accidentally leaks out of the company environment and into nefarious hands. So our systems help block that in those platforms. So questions on sort of the overall review of the plan before we move into like the technical nitty gritty of how it looks?
No, I'm good.
Cool. All right. So when we're in Checkpoint, I can't show you everything because we're recording this and it'll go out, but I can show you this is from our systems. So, for example, we have the email and collaboration. The email does these same amount of things. So I'm going to show you just what one view of this would look like. So this is actually the Google Drive view, but like I said, email and Teams and chat will have the same features and the same sort of view. Just those other pages have proprietary information that I can't show you on this call. So when we're talking about it doing DLP prevention here, I'm going to show you the different categories that we have. This is where we have it's clean here. We have one click time protection, meaning that it's scanning anytime that you have to click a certain button on your machine, so that you or click on a certain file within Google Drive, and it will make sure that it's being downloaded in to a proper place, and not some nefarious destination. And we have anti-malware that's being like uploads for anything that's being uploaded to Google Drive. So this is great for CPAs and tax pros that have that use Google Drive as their secure portal. It will monitor every upload that comes in for malware, and then threat extraction. It monitors for anytime data is leaving the Google Drive environment. So when you're exfiltrating, meaning that you're downloading data from your Google Cloud, it's making sure that it's going to the right place, going to the right person, that it doesn't contain certain malicious or suspicious or unwanted elements like DLP and things like that. Anti-phishing, of course, is anti-phishing messages. That's within Google messages or comments. If you make comments on Google Drive documents and things like that have URLs, it will scan those, and that's what that does. And then this is part of that anti-phishing, the URL or reputation. Questions on that? I'm going to show you what the DLP policies are and what all that information that it looks for in a second. But questions on what all the features are and how it all secures everything.
So we are the only ones that has the view like this, or the clients will also get one?
and we provide this with our reports and things like that to the clients. But this is our active live view. We can't show everything because it has a view of all the clients. So we're
Okay, got it.
service provider, so we have everything. But this is the page that had to clean enough data to be able to show you. This is all the things that it looks for here.
Okay, got it.
And then and even you can tell, like, we have 174 files. There are 151 of them are internal, meaning they're only shared in between. So, I mean, that's a cool metric for our clients, because you can see, okay, like, for example, we have 174 files that are within our Google Drive, but only 151 of them are internal files, meaning that only 151 files sitting in our drive are actually owned by us, by someone in Gipson Cyber. So we have 23 files that are out there that are not owned by us, but our users have access to. So that, looking at a security perspective, is a possible vulnerability, because we have those 23 files that we could be putting information in and may not have ownership of, to be able to see past certain things if they like remove access or something like that. So it helps me as a business owner to say, great, I have 23 files that I need to go look at to make sure that, or my security, actually have my security team or whatever go look at, to make sure that those files are permissioned properly, so that they are not going to elicit information that they shouldn't be. Does that track? Yeah. Okay. So that's how I kind of extrapolate this information. And this is, like I said, this is the same type of information that our clients will get when we do our reports. Some of our clients are starting to come up for their 90-day reviews and WISP reviews. So we're going to be moving to schedule those on the ops side. And this will be a part of it, making sure that we can track all the data that's moving in and out of the client's environment. So going over to the DLP data types that we watch for, there is quite a few. So these are the names here are all the types of data that are being watched for when data is moved from when data is what we call data in transit, when it's moved from one place to another. Meaning, it's being uploaded or downloaded from Drive, it's being sent as a message across Slack or Teams or chat, all those different things. So advertising information, identifiers used to track, and we can add, like I said, here's the create data type. We can add more stuff. We can update these things to be specific towards the client if they need to really look at certain things, like, for example, maybe like a doctor's office might need some really specific DLP loss prevention, types in there, so that it's not being, no data is being leaked. So that sort of stuff. But we can do advertising. You have age of individual, AWS credentials, passports, Canadian passports, all the different types of passports, names, all these different things. Ireland passports, if you have them. All these different types of data are being monitored to make sure that they're not leaving the company to leaving the company to those that shouldn't have that access. So, U.S. passport numbers, toll-free numbers, state names, vehicle identification numbers. So yeah, let's say that we can add in specific vehicle identification numbers. So let's say that a company owns certain cars. We can get those vehicle identification numbers, put them in here, and if they're being passed over in a communication, we're going to get a notification for that. So that's sort of the specificness that we can get into it. And we can even do these things with, different applications, different security engines, and then our DLP types. See if there's anything else that's cool. Credit cards, ethnic groups.
Just a question, Nick. So how does this work? Like the scanning of the identifiers and all, does it work on the back end, or do we have an application that we need to install?
No. This works on the back end. So this is what's really different about our security is that it doesn't matter what device that they use. We have our security for their devices. But in terms of email and collaboration, like Teams and messaging platforms, it doesn't matter what device we use. We install it directly on the application itself using APIs or using the back end to be able to scan all communications, with the client back and forth, internally and externally, and then it goes against basically this list that says it's a bunch of we call if then statements. If the last name, if if a piece of text looks like a last name, then send us an email or send us a notification about it. That's basically what it does. It has, in a technical term, it has what we call most likely uses what we call regex or regular expressions, and it's a language that is used to search large segments of data. So every time an email goes through, this whole list is being ran through on that email, verifying if any of the data shown within that email matches any of these categories. And if it does, then it sends a flag up. Depending on depending on the settings after after you have a detection, it could stop the message from happening or just let us know it happened and allow the message through. It depends on policy. Look at this. If it detects you're sending like or using a weak password, it will notify us. That's cool. And that's what's this is different for our email. This is different from our solution. This is on our endpoint solution, but with our endpoint solution, it actually will monitor for weak passwords or malicious forms that may not be what you think they are. So if it it may look like a login to your Gmail, but it ends up being something that's not, and it will check that beforehand. So just another layer of our security approach. Any other questions, Chris?
Well, I think it's also good that we mentioned that we don't really have access to their data, right?
Yes, that is true. That is true. Yeah, we don't actually see any of the emails that go through. It's all being done by the computer in what we call the back end, meaning beyond what a user can see. So it's just done through code to search through that information and then alert us if it's found a match to that information. And then it's up to a human that's where we come in and we go and verify, okay, yeah, that match was a positive match and it was going to an external source. So we need to follow up with them and make sure that it was going to a proper location. And that's what our team will do.
Mm. Okay, great.
So, yeah, other than that, thanks for joining today. It was a little bit of a shorter one, but I just wanted to kind of go over everything that's under these two services within the small business plan. I think they're really great services.
Yes.
There are not very many companies out there that are doing this. So being able, and then I love Checkpoint that has security specifically for these types of solutions. So just another win in the book for Gipson Cyber when we got our partnership with Checkpoint. Outside of that, I'm going to be posting this as well as any other lunch and learns up to our YouTube channel, and we will keep posting more videos there, so weekly, so you can catch us there. Other than that, thank you very much for watching and for tuning in. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, Nick.